Welcome back to Lovecraft Country, Episode 5. Apologize for this coming out late. Finding work in the middle of a pandemic is rather tough, so just been a little busy. What is going on?
Wake up, Ruby.
Oh, what the fuck?
Wake up!
I wasn't expecting that. So what the hell did William do to her? I did see the comments saying that William and Christina are probably the same person, and I definitely agree. I believe that is the case. So what did they do to her exactly, besides turn her into a white woman?
You lost, ma'am?
What did you do to her, boy?
I was just trying to help.
No, my Jesus Christ. Ruby, do you want to say something?
Huh? Answer me,
You have a little ounce of power now.
What
Now
did
would be a
you
good
do?
time to use it.
Officer,
There you go.
he didn't hurt me.
What
Shit, I think these are the fits her husband mentioned.
What is happening? Ugh. Oh, I don't like that. Body horror freaks me the fuck out. I mean, there's no way the show's gonna kill Ruby when she's like in the body of a white woman. That would just be a little too much, I think. Do you feel bad about what you did? Because you fucking should, man. You know, I'm not opposed to it. What Montrose did was really fucked up, man.
If you took photos of him, give them to me!
Aw. Don't let your anger out on her. Like, she's just trying to help you, man. She's like genuinely scared too. She's like, I don't know if he's gonna hit me or not. Oh, fuck.
Though, one could argue they're one and the same.
So that's what Christina's doing, right? Using that little metamorphosis thing to become him. That's gotta be it.
They were scared for me.
And that right there is the difference.
They all treated me like
A human being.
Ding, ding, ding. There it is, folks.
It'll be easier next time.
no, there won't be a
Yeah,
next time.
no thanks on the next time.
I have some business to attend to.
I mean, if I were Ruby, the temptation of having the privilege of being a white person would be very hard to resist. I admit that. But is it really worth how painful that transformation was? I mean, I guess the day-to-day life is painful enough for her anyways.
And to know herself,
I
to know
recognize this.
you, but seeing her rhythms.
Oh, yeah. She went for it again.
And struggle.
I swear I recognize this
Hard
poem.
times.
Is this
Yeah,
from,
so long. Clothed in
shit.
silence so long she
what is it
doesn't
called?
know the
For
sound
colored
of
girls?
her own voice.
For colored girls who
Her
attempted suicide? I can't remember the exact name. I think that's what it is, right?
She's half notes scattered.
Must be
I'm
nice to just
outside Chicago.
chill out for
And
once.
this is for colored girls. Who have
Oh, it is for
considered
colored girls.
Suicide, but
You definitely had a right to be angry, but
Hey,
not to take it out on her.
take pictures of the pages. I just didn't have a chance to develop them yet.
Oh, smart. Very good idea,
Thank
Letty. Still haven't heard like a real apology from that, but I mean, nice moment. They didn't even wait till like the midway point of this episode. They said, let's get them naked now. Here's some Cardi B up in here? Okay. So she wants the job. But she wants the job with the perks of being a white woman. Okay.
Oh, it's a tiny town. You probably never heard of it. Well, we moved to Chicago after my father
Let's
died.
just move on.
Chasing that mighty dollar.
Fuck
I
you.
don't want to take up any more of your time.
And that's fucked up.
It's my job to
That
make
they
sure
would
everyone
never
feels
offer
right at
Ruby
home.
a job
Welcome
under
to
any
Marshall Field's
circumstances
family.
because they already filled their black quota,
Shall we take a tour of the
but
store?
with the same
But first, the ladies.
qualifications as a white woman.
Miss Davenport,
She gets assistant manager.
you
It's
dropped
fucked.
your,
Like, I'm not sure it's worth it. Like, this kind of horrific pain does not seem like it's worth it. That being said, I don't know what it's like to spend every day as a black woman, so maybe it is worth it. Fuck, I don't know. Ew. Stop. Oh wow, that like really answers my question on that. Then we're not even gonna like prep a little bit? Okay, that is not prep, my dude. I had some guy try to do this shit to me once, and I was like, get the fuck out. Does not feel good. Come on, no amount of romance at all. This is like the roughest sex I've ever fucking seen. This is worse than like Brokeback Mountain when they just did it dry. Like, don't do that shit, man. Man, that dude gives me like mega creep vibes.
Your hands are a bit ashy.
I mean, if I was Ruby, I'd be pretty pissed too. I'd be like, you hired her simply because she's black, not even because she was qualified. I'm fucking qualified.
God.
I get the
Which way is the
frustration.
wind blowing?
What? I was polite enough not to use the less civilized word.
Oh, how
Hillary,
polite
you
of
were with
you.
Tamara earlier.
And we need a guide.
Why would you want to go there? There's nothing special
Once again,
about
a bunch
the
of white
South Side.
people
Trust me, I know.
wanting to go to
Been there?
Were you scared being
a
around
black
all these
space
people?
or an LGBT space just for the spectacle of it all. Fuck you all. She's like, no.
What of the rumors of defection following Hiram's death?
I fucking hate when
Mr.
people
Lowe was
snap
certainly
at me.
Unexpected.
Like,
There were some
I need,
abandoned.
like, fuck you. I want to break
Look
your
around.
fingers when you do that shit.
But William survived with my help.
Oh, I bet he did actually kill him, but she
Yeah,
used his
his
body
revenge.
to, you know, become him. That's gotta be it, right? They're never in the same scene together. There's no way that they're two different people. They have to be the same person. God damn, he looks so hot. Damn, he's smart as hell if you already figured that out.
It's not inherently evil, all right? It's what we do with it that matters. What we want to do.
I see both sides of that. Like,
Protect ours.
it does seem like it's corrupting people.
How can that be bad?
But I also see, you know, using those tools against actual evil. I don't know, man. Don't even look, just leave, Oh, actually, I do kind of want to know who's in the closet. No, what is it? Ugh. Oh my god. What did they do to him? What did he do to himself? Is he... Shut the fuck up, you dumbass. Is he like skinning black people and using their skin? Same.
Tamara!
Which makes a good point though. Like, almost always, black people have to work like 3 times as hard as a white person to get half as much shit. So, I get that mentality of like, you gotta be the best of the best.
But with something else, too.
It's not fair. But I myself have never done drag, but I mean, it seems like it'd be fun. I'm not opposed to it. How many times do I have to watch your skin fall off? I'm not a fan. I fucking knew it. Rapist piece of shit. He's racist. He's a rapist. He's just horrible. I haven't forgiven him, FYI, for what he did to Hema, but... And I remember the first time I went to, you know, my first gay club. There's nothing like that feeling of just utter freedom. Just be exactly who you've always wanted to be. That's an incredible feeling. This is actually making me a little emotional. Like I said, there's nothing like it. You finally get to be yourself. No restraints. Yeah.
You're not William.
Well, actually. Oh, she's working it. She's either gonna kill this dude or make him wish he was dead. Like, for sure.
Always in control, aren't you, Mr. Manager?
Definitely not a foot guy. Oh! Oh my god! A raper and a racist. Fucking earned that shit, but god damn. That is so badass and so fucked up. I shouldn't enjoy it, but I kinda did. That was actually really sweet.
What's in the
I like that.
basement?
Oh! That is so gross. Ew. So they are the same person. Confirmed. What? Don't leave me in suspense here. Come on.
Operator, how may I direct?
What are you?
What the fuck? D-I-E? What? Oh, die. What the fuck? That ending confused me hardcore. What the hell? Well, I liked the episode quite a bit. It was thoroughly disgusting. I'm starting to get used to it on this show, at least like a little bit. Ruby was definitely the main character of this episode. Like the bulk of it focused on her storyline of taking the potion and becoming a white woman for... They never were really clear on how long it lasts or how many times a day she had to take that potion to stay as, you know, a white woman. I'm not really 100% on that. But there were definitely a lot of good messages that they were throwing out there. Just the opening scene of her, you know, running around like a crazy person, just freaking out. Back then and today, if it were a black person, they would definitely be arrested, probably be beaten in the process. Or at the very least, like they said, just be seen as less than human at that point. But because she was a white woman, they were concerned for her. They wanted to make sure she got home safely. And I think it's pretty cool that we get like a different type of horror in almost every episode. Like there's always a little bit of something in there. The first episode, it was monsters. Second episode, it was magic. Third episode, it was ghosts. And in the fourth episode, it was mostly an adventure episode, but we did get like the weird zombie type moment. And in this episode, it was lots and lots of body horror, which, like I said, I really don't like body horror. It freaks me the fuck out. I hate that shit. It freaks me out, the idea of like your body turning against you or something inside of you, like ugh. But I have to admit, the effects that they used for any of the scenes for like the transformations were very good. Just absolutely disgusting. I think there were also some pretty strong messages about like cultural appropriation in this episode. A lot of the time, white people want to pick and choose what parts of a culture or people that they want for themselves, while simultaneously treating people of that culture as completely alien and different from them. Like my own personal experiences with that are simply in the LGBT community. Like there are tons of times I'll go to a gay bar, well, not now with the pandemic, but before the pandemic, where a bunch of straight people just show up and just gawk at everything like, ooh, look how fun this is. Ooh. Like there's a reason there are spaces like that made for certain communities, because those communities typically don't get to be themselves without worry anywhere else. And for other people to come in there and just treat it as some big spectacle, like a circus to watch, again, it just lends further into the idea that you're seen as something less than, that you're some animal in a cage to be looked at for their enjoyment, which I think they nailed that scene for sure. Because if the only time they're going to be kind in any sort of way to Tamara is at the club so that she can teach him how to dance, but then just talk a bunch of shit about her behind her back, about how stupid she is and how bad of a worker she is, like, go fuck yourself. You're fucked up. And Ruby made an excellent point. Like, white women want to be like black women, and some black women want to be like white women, and it's just this constant desire to be something else. The major difference between the two is the white people actually get treated like human beings. And I like how you got to see both types of those situations. Like with Ruby, you got to see what one of those places that is a space for black people kind of invaded by these white people, again, for the spectacle of it, because they wanted to do something wild for one night. And then on the other hand, you got to see Montrose completely surrounded by people just like him, or at least similar to him, and get to let loose and feel that freedom. He no longer had people watching him that would judge him for doing that. He was just surrounded by people that wanted him to be himself. So I think to have both of those scenes run very close to one another was very smart. That was very good writing. Once again, the character of Christina just continues to get more and more interesting to me, because, I mean, now we know 100% that William and Christina are the same fucking person. And while Ruby gets to experience the privileges of being white, Christina gets to experience the privileges of being a man. So again, I still don't like her. I think she's got very ulterior motives. She doesn't seem to be a good person, but she's a very interesting character. I'm glad she's on the show to stay, because I'm very curious what exactly her end game is. Like, what are her true goals here? And I definitely get why she would tell Ruby, like, I know what you're feeling. But at the same time, I also very much understand why Ruby's like, shut the fuck up. Like, no, you do not. You might understand maybe a fraction of what it's like to be disenfranchised, but not even close to me as a black woman. Like, she gets the worst of both worlds. But I think we got a slight hint as to what Christina's endgame is. It seems like she's definitely trying to two-time that cop. I always forget his name, sorry. I don't know how or why exactly, besides the fact that he's a fucking asshole and definitely needs to go. But she had Ruby plant that little stone in his office, which I'm not sure if that's like a two-way communication device that she's gonna use to spy on him, or if it's something entirely different that's gonna fuck him over somehow. And I'm also very curious as to what the fuck he is doing. Like, what the hell was all that extra skin on him for? What was he doing to that man in the closet? Like, we know that he got his tongue cut out, and it looked like he also had skin like replaced all across his throat, but why? Like, what the hell was that? Atticus and Letty's story was a little back and forth for me. I like that they're definitely moving forward on like having a serious relationship with one another, but at the same time, he clearly has a lot of issues that he's not really working through. He's kind of just ignoring them. Like, I don't like that he really flipped out on her and she had to basically get him to stand down by holding a baseball bat. And he never really apologized for it either. He kind of just said, you know, I didn't think I could get that angry, but the war kind of taught me that I could. So I wish that he would have sincerely apologized for that, but at the same time, it's nice to see that they're both moving past it in a way. And that ending got me all kinds of confused. Like, what the fuck? Like, what did this woman in Korea know that he's so distraught about? And how did things end between them exactly? I'm not entirely sure, but this episode posed a lot of questions, and not in a bad way. I think this is definitely a great episode in terms of expanding upon the mystery, making it all that more enticing by not giving the audience exactly what we want, which is a bunch of answers. Oh, and I almost forgot two things. One, they gave us another sex scene with Atticus. Thank you. And of course, Ruby getting her revenge on her boss. Don't remember his name, don't really give a fuck. His name is forever racist rapist in my mind. So to see him get what he deserves was both great and horrible, because god damn, that was brutal. But like I said, I don't feel bad for him in the slightest. That motherfucker deserved it, and then some. And again, it's sad, but it doesn't surprise me that, you know, he never made a move on any of the white women at his workforce, at least that we know of, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. But he saw black women as, you know, just objects to satisfy his sexual pleasure, which has been happening throughout history for a long fucking time. Because rather than see black women as actual people, there are so many men who just see them, again, as sexual objects to fulfill their desires. Which is why, once again, I don't feel bad for the motherfucker at all. And I feel like that was definitely one of the reasons they had the poem for colored girls, or at least one of the poems from that in there. There's definitely a large part of that musical that is about black women being used for sexual pleasures for other men. But on to the technicals now. Cinematography in this episode was quite good. There's almost no episodes I can really dislike the cinematography. It's always pretty top-notch. And the visual effects, I think, were fantastic. Again, even though it was absolutely disgusting, any of the scenes where she's transforming back into herself, music in this episode was once again very, very good. There was a good mixture of period piece music as well as more modern music. And again, I really liked the use of the poem from, or at least the introduction of for Colored Girls. That was very well done. And I definitely see how that ties into the themes of this episode. And I'm not the biggest Cardi B fan, but in the right context, it worked pretty damn well. Acting in this episode was very good. Honestly, I think the best actor of the bunch in this one would honestly have to give it to Michael K. Williams, because if I recall, I don't think he said anything like during the whole episode. Maybe he said one line to Atticus, but I don't think he did. But just seeing the conflicting feelings he's having over having murdered someone, and on top of that being gay and closeted and not being able to let any of it out. And I think it was a beautiful moment seeing him at the club finally get to let some of that out, and like I said, feel that complete and utter freedom of being yourself. Editing and pacing wise, I thought this episode was, I don't want to say perfect, but pretty fucking close. Like, in terms of big reveals, it was very slow paced, but in terms of actual things happening and the journey that Ruby took along the episode, I felt like it was pretty snappy. We got through a lot of material in what felt like a short amount of time, but I mean, it was an hour-long episode. So I thought that was pretty outstanding. And overall, I'd give this episode, I'd give it an 8.8 out of 10. For me, again, it's the best episode besides the premiere for me. I really like seeing Ruby take more of a main role in the story, and there were a lot of really interesting and perplexing questions on where exactly we're headed after this. But at the same time, I can see there is a path, there's a trajectory that the show is taking, and we just gotta kind of go along for the ride. And that's about it. Ruby, I feel like the weird brand on his chest should be a big red flag for you. I mean, sort of good for her, you know, get it, but damn, man.